Welcome to this third tutorial on fitting a distribution or guessing a distribution. So in our first video, we saw an overview of how to perform the chi-squared goodness of fit test. In the second video, we saw the performance of this goodness of fit test for a uniform distribution. Now in this third video, we would do the same thing for a Poisson distribution. So why this third tutorial? It is for two reasons. The first one is that the uniform tutorial was for a continuous distribution. So you could use the same approach for either a normal distribution or a gamma distribution, so on and so forth. Whereas a Poisson is a discrete distribution, right? So when it comes to a discrete distribution, there are a few changes that we would have to do, and we would be seeing those changes in this tutorial. So let's get started. So again, I am going to load this data set known as data underscore Poisson and then call my two basic packages, which are going to be NumPy and pandas. So let's load this data set, data underscore Poisson. So I have loaded the data set into the environment and I have called it into my code. So now what do I have? I have a data set which has 100 observations, and for those 100 observations, each of these are the different values. So 5, 4, 4, 5, 5, so on and so forth. And the business context where Poisson distribution can be used, the most famous one is going to be the number of defects. Let's say you are going to produce a product, and if there is even a single defect in the product, you are going to call it as a defect, right? So I have produced a lot of, let's say, 200 products, and out of those 100 have had defects, and in each of those, how many defects were found? So 5 defects were found in the first sample point, 4 defects was found in the second sample point, 4 defects was found in the third sample point, so on and so forth. Now this is the data set that you have. And for this data set, let us first do a histogram, right? So if I plot a histogram, it looks like it's going to be normally distributed. It could be possible, it could be a normal distribution. Why we are emphasizing on normal is that normal is something that you will very often see. But when it comes to a defect, it need not be normal, right? And this is where we would take the descriptive statistics comes into importance. If I look at my descriptive statistics, I have a mean of 4.9 and a standard deviation of 2.3. And what is the variance? The variance is going to be 5.6, and only for a Poisson will the mean and the variance be very, very close to each other, right? So using my descriptive statistics, I can actually come to a conclusion saying that when the mean and the variance are very, very close, or so close, the mean is 4.9 and the variance is 5.6, I can actually say yes, this is coming from a Poisson distribution. I would leave the PP plot and QQ plots for the Poisson to be developed on your own. So I would not go into that particular visualization in this tutorial. Please do develop the PP plot and QQ plot on your own and see how it happens. I would like to focus on the statistical test and what are the changes that are going to happen over there. So I am importing all my required packages for performing the statistical test. I have also imported the package that you would be using for the QQ plot. So please use the same for developing the QQ plot on your own for this particular code set. The new package, these are all the packages that were already present in the previous tutorial video. The new package that we are going to import is going to be known as the Poisson. Since we are going to check for a Poisson distribution, I have imported this Poisson package from scipy.stats. Okay. So since my mean and variance are very close, I am going to be considering that my population is going to be following a Poisson, and hence my null hypothesis is that, beg your pardon, there's an error here. So the null hypothesis is going to be that it's going to be a Poisson, and the alternative is that it does not come from a Poisson, right? So that is going to be the null hypothesis. The data follows a Poisson distribution, and the alternative is that the data does not follow a Poisson distribution. So let's do the same step that we did for a uniform, right? I have split this into bins, and then I am developing the observed frequency for each of these bins. This is not correct. Why? Because I cannot use this method for creating bins because the Poisson distribution is discrete, which means I cannot have an observation which says 0.99 to 2. I must say exactly 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, right? So I cannot adopt this particular method of binning for the Poisson distribution. I must use something else. And what would I use? I would basically start creating this new data frame called group.data, right? It is an empty data frame, and in this group.data, what I am going to do is, for every observed frequency value that I have, I am going to count the number of times it has happened. So 1 has happened 3 times, 2 has happened 14 times, 3 has happened 15 times, so on and so forth. So if I open my data set, data.poisson, if I open my data set, put a filter on this observed frequency and filter it, let's say, for 4. I am having 16 observations, right? And if I go back to my this thing, 4 would be happening 16 times, right? So my frequency table is matching my data set that is available. So 1 would have happened 2 times, 2 would have happened 12 times, 4 has happened 16 times, and that is what we saw. When we filter, we see that there are 16 observations of 4 in my data set of 100 observations, right? So that is going to be my my frequency table, the first step. So I have got bins. My bins are going to be 1 to 11, and the observed frequency are going to be 3 to 2. For each of these, I need to compute the expected frequency. And what is that? The expected frequency for one observations is going to be nothing but the probability mass function, the PMF, into the total number of observations in my sample, which is going to be 100, right? So what will I do? That PMF will give me the probability of observing one given this sample with a lambda of with a mean of 4.9. So that is going to be my probability mass function. So for each of these bins, I must get the probability mass function, which is the Poisson PMF. So for this group data frame, I am going to add a new column called Poisson underscore PMF, and that Poisson underscore PMF is going to be computed using this package value, which is going to be Poisson.pmf. I am going to take the k value from the observed frequency index and the mu value, which is going to be the mean value of 4.9 as my mean, and I am going to add that to my data frame, right? So the probability of observing 1 in this data frame is 0.03. Probability of observing 2 is 0.09. Probability of observing 3 is 0.14, so on and so forth, correct? So that is going to be the probability mass function. Using this probability mass function, I need to compute the expected frequency, which is nothing but this probability into the total number of observations that I have, which is going to be 100. So the expected frequency is nothing but the probability mass function into 100. So it is going to be 3.5 observations are going to be falling under 1, 8.7 observations that is going to be falling under 2, 14.3 observations that are going to be falling under 3, so on and so forth. A question may arise, if this is an actual business context, how can this be in decimals, 3.5, 8.7, 4.3, right? If I am going to observe the number of samples which have a defect of 1, how can it be 3.5? That could be a logical question. This is where the word expected comes. This is a theoretical value. Theoretically, I can have 3.5, 4.1, 5.1, whatever in decimal points. There I would not round off. But the actual value the observed frequency will always be an integer value, right? So that is the difference between the observed frequency and expected frequency. The observed frequency is the actual number of observations that fall which have a defect of 1. The expected frequency is from the population how many values will I expect to have one defect. So that can be in decimals. Okay. Now I have an observed frequency and I have an expected frequency. I can perform my chi-squared test using the same thing, chi-squared grouped observed frequency comma expected frequency, right? So if I perform this, you will have an error that pops up, and the error would say that the observed frequency and expected frequency do not match. What does that mean? So what does that mean? My observed frequency has 100 values, correct? Whereas my expected frequency has only 98 values. Because of this mismatch, this test will not be performed in Python. It will pop up this error known as the value error for access slice. And it is very logical. There is a logical reason for this. This 98 is coming because my expected frequency, the sum of all of this is 98.78, and that into 100 is 98.78 observations, right? So that is the reason why this error is popping up. I want you to find out a way, the correct method to fix this problem for any given data set. So tomorrow if you run the same thing for any other discrete probability function, let's say you are doing a coin toss and you want to see whether the coin is truly unbiased or not, right? So it should follow a binomial distribution 1 and 0. If you do that, you would still end up with this error that the number of observed and expected frequency are not matching. And in that case, how do you fix this problem? The fix or the correct method to give for this problem has been discussed in the discourse. Please go have a look at it and implement that here. What I am going to do is, if you actually implement the solution correctly, if you actually implement the solution correctly, you should get a data frame that looks like this, the grouped underscore df that has been given to you. That data frame would actually have the corrected value, and the value that has been corrected would be this last value. Instead of 0.766, the last value would be 1.97. How do you make this correction? Think of it, think of the logical reasoning for this and implement it in a tool and find it out, right? So that I am giving it to you as a homework, because we have told you how to do this in the discourse. We would also be telling you how to do this during the live sessions. So in either one of these forums, please pick up the correct technique and implement it in a tool. Since you are doing some programming before this, we want to encourage you to do it on your own. So please do that. And once you do that, you should end up with a data frame that looks like this. So I have my bins 1 to 11. I have my observed frequencies for each of these bins, and I would have the correct expected frequency for each of these bins. Now if I perform my chi-squared goodness of fit test, there would be no problems. I would get a chi-squared value of 5.9 and a p-value of 0.8. Obviously, since my p-value is 0.8, at a level of significance of 5%, 0.05, I would not reject the null. I would do not reject the null would be the conclusion, which means my parent distribution, my defects are indeed following a Poisson distribution in my production process. The same way, at a 95 level of significance, if I do k minus p minus 1, my k is 10 buckets, alright, 1 to 11 is 10 buckets, so 10 minus 1, because I am only computing the lambda here, so that is 2, so 10 minus 2, 8, my chi-square tabulated value is going to be 16.9, and at 16.9, that is very greater than 5.9, and hence I will not be rejecting my null hypothesis, right? So this is the tutorial on how to use Python as a tool for narrowing down your possible contenders for for a distribution, and then statistically verifying whether your hypothesized distribution and the actual parent distribution are matching or not matching using a chi-squared goodness of fit test. So please use these tutorials, the codes and the data sets, all the 3 data sets, the uniform, the Poisson and the grouped underscore DF would be available to you for your use and for your further practice. So please do the practice and meet you again in the next tutorial. Have a good day.